Okay, quick disclaimer. The audio on this is a little janky. We were trying to be a bit experimental, but occasionally the audio is peaking and stuff. I'm sorry. Just watch the video anyway. It's really fun. Okay, thanks. Bye. Now here's the video. Hello and welcome to a D&D story. It's story time, everybody. Gather around because Uncle Pete and Uncle Liam are going to tell you a story. This is Liam. I've brought him here today to Warcast. You can find him. We do a podcast, War Podcaster. Podcast for this channel, in fact. This is a great intro.
You didn't clear the uncle's thing with me.
You can find us on the podcast, War Podcaster. We're both doing that together, me and Liam, so you can listen to us on there. We're going to be talking about a story from his campaign today, which I'm also a player in, which is why I've got him here, because he's the DM. And basically, this is going to be the story of the time that one of our player characters died. But it wasn't like any other death, it was a really cool one. So, Liam, context, let's dive into it. How'd this happen?
There's a lot of context surrounding this one.
Yeah.
So we had a bit of a break from the campaign as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I think we hadn't played for a couple of weeks, or a few weeks anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Texting around the group, being like, should we get another session in? And one of the players texts me back privately and says, hey, just letting you know, I'm not feeling playing this character. At this point, we'd probably played maybe 20-ish sessions.
I'd say maybe even less than that, maybe even like 10 to 15 at
yeah,
this point.
You wasn't overly high level. I think
No.
you may have been level 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, I think it was either 4 or 5.
It was 4 or 5 that everyone was at the level. Just text me saying I'm not feeling this character anymore. Doesn't really resonate too well with me. I'm not having the best time. I'm not really too sure what I'm doing with it. So I said, okay, no problem. What do you want to do about that? Is this you telling me you don't want to play anymore, or are you going to try a new character? They wanted to try a new character. No problem at all with that. Absolutely fine. However, what do you do with the old one?
Yeah, you can't just be like, and they left.
No, that was something I definitely didn't want to do it as. And then they just decided to leave, which wouldn't have suited the character at all, because they were a fallen Aesir that worshipped Ares, the war god. So there was no real thing of, I just don't feel like doing this anymore. Yeah,
exactly, yeah. And we had no idea. The players had no idea this was happening.
Big one.
Yeah, we didn't know that he didn't feel this character. We didn't know about any of this private conversation between you and him.
No, and hindsight, we could have told you, but hindsight, I'm very glad we didn't.
Yeah, legit. Yeah, it was so much better that we didn't know.
We could have told you, like he could have said, I'm gonna play a new character because I'm not really feeling this one. Mm-hmm. But the story that came out of it and the way it was played by everyone, mainly you guys, because what I do is a reflection of what you do. I can only give out as much as you guys put in.
True. We are amazing, yeah.
You are very good. You are all very good players. You are all very good players. The moment that came out of it is probably no disrespect to any other sort of D&D thing that we've done, but it's probably the best moment we've had in D&D.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
Across the people we've been playing with.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Like, that whole final 20 minutes of the previous session and then that entire session.
Yes. It was genuinely incredible, and it's something that stuck with me because I always heard before this session had happened. You know, I'd been watching Critical Role, I'd been watching a few D&D videos here and there, and I'd always heard of, like, you know, you'll get to this point where you just have this breakthrough moment and you go, God, this is why I love D&D.
Yeah.
And that, for me, that session, that was it. That was like, this is why I'm playing it. This is great.
There was a lot of risks that came with it.
Yeah.
For good rewards. To give a bit more context on it, after he made the character, I knew the players were going to a particular town. They were going to a town named Chronopolis.
Yes.
Just so I don't have to keep saying the town.
Yes.
They were going to Chronopolis. I told him that his character is in Chronopolis. He lives there, he works there. So that's how the characters will meet you. Mm-hmm. I said to him, I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen because I want it to be a surprise for you as to what's going to happen as well. And he gave me permission for that. I said, do you want me to surprise you? I asked him as well. I said, are you okay with me killing the character off? And he said, I don't really mind what you do with the character. I'm just not going to play it. Yeah. So I said, fine. I took creative control. I said, I'm probably going to kill her off. And I told him, it's the only time I've done this. Mm-hmm. I've told him, you need to fail this roll.
Yep.
You'll know which roll it is, but no matter what you roll, I need you to just tell me that it was low. I wouldn't encourage doing that very often.
No, this was a special circumstance, though.
But
this was worth it.
I needed that to happen.
Yeah.
So you were staying in the inn in Chronopolis.
Yep.
And we've said it on a bit of our content now. Certain things happen because magic.
Totally, 100%.
The character, she woke up and she saw the ghostly visage of her deceased wife off in the distance, standing just outside of the outer ring of the city. She went outside to investigate this ghost of her deceased wife, and
As you would.
as you would, you wouldn't just you wouldn't sleep it off.
Yeah, oh, that's weird.
Get to that in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I said to the player, can you make a wisdom saving throw? Because it was a hag's charm person effect.
Yeah.
I just sort of enhanced it.
Yeah.
That's the one they had to fail. They failed it. And
just a quick note about that fail as well. They had inspiration, actually, from, I believe, earlier that session, or maybe like the session beforehand.
maybe, yeah.
My character and their character had a really, like, meaningful conversation between each other. Like, and this was me
Totally
confiding
forgot.
in this character, right? Because
Totally forgot.
in the context of the party, it was essentially two pairs of people that came together.
Yes.
It was me and this character that was about to die were really good friends, and the other two people were good friends, and we came together at the start of the campaign to create this party of 4.
Yes.
So I didn't want to confide in the other two people because we were still relatively new party. I confided in my friend, this character that was again about to die, and we'd had this really meaningful conversation. So Liam had given us both inspiration. So for that fail, because we're playing with this person that plays his character on Discord because he can't be with us in person, he rolled it and he goes, I'm using inspiration for this.
Yeah.
And we heard him like roll again and he's like, no, I still failed. And it was like, it really added to him being like, man, you rolled terribly for that. Come on, dude. You can't. So we were like, oh man, you've got to roll better for that. Like, yeah.
Brief.
So we were all like super into it already.
Brief side note, loves the fact you had that real deep conversation with that character, because at that point the death was planned.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there like, oh no. It was really like,
He's gonna be so crushed when she dies.
It was like the best way I could describe it is you give your like son a puppy to play with, and he goes, thanks for the puppy, Dad, and he thinks it's his. And it's like, I'm gonna have to take the puppy away. I've got to take the puppy away. But he really just had a good moment with the puppy. So he fudged the rolls, and I described it as the deceased wife wandered off into the woods, or she floated off into the woods, and you feel compelled to follow. And it was described to the players as Ashara, which was the character's name, walks off into the woods until she can be seen no more by the dim light that is shined from the outer gates of the city.
Yep.
And I just forced you guys to play. Like in the morning, I was just like, right, you guys wake up. And that was a big risk for me, because I could have come across as a really bad DM of just like completely telling one of my players, you're not playing right now. You're out. You failed, you're out.
Yeah, exactly. And at the time as well, I was just like, I mean, that can't be right?
Yeah.
Like, you failed a wisdom save. Like, why is... This is weird. Like, I don't get what's going on. And especially because on the same night as well, right before Ashara woke up and went out to investigate her wife, my character had a really good dream with my god. I had a really good chat with my god, and I was so much happier because I'd been really like down and annoyed and frustrated with life, and that's why I confided in Ashara. And then the god came in and kind of I had a chat with the god, because in your world the gods are very kind of
they are very open and there to talk whenever you want, pretty much.
So in my dream I had a chat with my god, and I woke up in a really good mood, and I was like, hey guys, I'm so much happier.
It was the perfect storm.
Yeah. And then I went up to Ashara's bedroom, knocked on the door, no answer. I was like, oh, that's weird. She's sleeping in. Knock again, still no answer. I was like, okay, this is weird now. And being a rogue as my character, I believe I broke into the bedroom. I unlocked it and went in and saw they were gone, and I was like, oh no!
Yeah, they were just gone.
Yeah, just gone. I was like, that's not good. So we all went out, and we didn't know where they went, because they went in the dead of the night, so we had no clue. So we were running around the city, we tried to find out where to go.
And you encountered a malnourished woman who gave you a note that said, pretty much, I don't remember the exact words, but it was, we have your friend, come to the swamp.
Yeah, and it was also, wasn't it, bring the innkeeper, I think?
Yeah, that was it. Bring the innkeeper to the swamp. And
Yes.
the note was tied together with like a lock of Ashara's hair.
That's right, yeah. Super creepy, by the way.
So you guys went to find the innkeeper, and as you knocked on his door, and you opened the door, and you asked him, "Are you the innkeeper?" I then gave it to the character who was no longer playing Ashara and said, "Would you like to talk to the party?"
Yeah, and we all, collectively, all of us just went, what? Like, huh? Yeah, that was amazing. Because then, at that point, I'd thought I'd put 2 and 2 together. I thought I knew where this was going.
Sure.
I was like, he's going to make us choose whether to sacrifice this new innkeeper that we've just met or to save our old PC. I stood up from the table and I just went, you bastard! And literally, God, just started swearing. I was like, I can't believe you're going to make us do this.
Oh, man.
Because I thought I'd figured it out, and I hadn't.
I was genuinely, I was so happy with it. Player character was brilliant with it as well. You guys had no idea that was going to happen, so that was a great moment. And then we get to the rest of it.
Yeah.
The next session.
Yeah.
So the next session, everyone comes in and they know that he's playing this new character.
Yep.
And the old character has wandered off. They still don't know the plan.
No, not at all.
You still, like, as you said, you thought you had to choose. Another person thought, I think she told me she thought it was just going to be a thing of, oh, this is just for like story purpose. Like you've done this with him and it's just for the sake of the story.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
who can say?
I basically just gave everyone you'll have to play. And then you guys went off into the swamp.
Yep.
With the innkeeper.
Yep.
Who rubbed you guys really the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the easiest to get along with at the best of times. Very kind of stuck up.
Yes.
And he is like, I don't want to walk in the swamp, you'll have to carry me. We were like,
Get in the swamp.
Get in the swamp now. We're going to find our friend and this is your fault. Because at the time we thought, this has to do with the innkeeper. This is all your fault.
That was it. You were like blaming him.
Essentially, yeah.
Like you guys were blaming him and saying, this is your fault. You've done something. Why do these hags want you? You've done something. Why has this happened? Why have they taken her? This is your fault.
Yeah.
And it was really rough to watch.
It was.
It was really rough to watch.
There's a lot of tension at that table. Like, I don't want to say legitimate tension because obviously we all knew we were in on it.
Everyone was fine.
But it was very kind of like high stakes, high emotions. People were quick to like anger in this scenario. Like the characters were. It was really like it was quite something, and it lasted a whole session like of us just being like on edge, like the whole thing.
It was a tense session. But to cut that part short, you got to the you got near the hut.
And Hag's hut.
And you guys saw Ashara standing solitary in the swamp not far away from the hut.
Yeah.
To which she bellowed out that she was going to fight. War. There was a fight that happened. You guys were fighting Ashara and 2 green hags at the same time. Green hags obviously were fair game. Ashara was just like letting off eldritch blasts and like attempting to swing with her sword. And you guys were you guys were very apprehensive to attack Ashara.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, a couple of times she took a few hits because you guys were like, oh, maybe if we hit her, she gets to make a save, or if we can knock her out of it or something, or maybe it's a thing of dispel magic or counteracting forces, and then you guys went down the route of maybe if we kill the hags, the spell goes off. So while Ashara's blasting you with eldritch blasts, you guys are just like, off, stop hitting me! Stop hitting me! And you're just like trying to kill these hags at the same time. It got to the point where the 2 hags were dead, and it was just Ashara. And you guys were really trying.
We tried so hard.
You were trying everything. Like every round of combat was getting to the point of you guys were like,
we don't want to kill her.
You guys just like, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait, and then someone else like, I'm gonna try this. Go like try and shake her awake, and like it doesn't happen.
And like she had like this, I think it was like a purple crystal that was embedded in her head. And I as the rogue, I got out my dagger. I tried to literally pry the crystal out of her head. Didn't work. Yeah. Like
there was a lot of things that everyone was trying. Yeah. And the barbarian of the time, she was going toe to toe with Ashara, and it got to the point where she was like, I think she had her in a grapple.
Yes.
I think she had her grappled, and she was holding on to her while you guys tried different things. And nothing was working.
No.
Like, nothing was working at all.
And she was still fighting, and we were like, we don't want to fight you, but she just kept coming at us. She was still hitting us. We'd taken a hefty beating from the hags anyway. Yeah. So, like, we were pretty messed up. We were like, if we don't do something, we're gonna die, because Ashara's not stopping.
And, I can't remember exactly how the decision got made, but
I think it was literally like a collective look around the table of us to be like...
the barbarian... Our barbarian character, she just said, I'm going to attack.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, she literally and the way we described it was, I believe she choked her out, right?
Yes, it was like it wasn't like a locked off head or anything. It was like a choked out kind of thing. It was because she had her in the grapple already.
Yeah.
Then then the players were in a situation where technically they had a PC death.
Yeah, and we'd killed them.
And you'd killed them. It's not just a PC death. You guys had, as a party, killed them. Oh. And it was a somber atmosphere.
Oh, man.
It was a somber atmosphere.
Gosh.
And it was... You can, D&D, you can have your great moments, funny moments, laugh, victorious moments. You can also have your sad moments that you look back on and you think, God, that was a great moment. Yeah. And I look back on that moment, and at the time it was sad. But I look back on it and I'm like, that was a great... I'm so happy everyone was sad. Yeah. It would have been terrible if everyone I made the joke afterwards. I was like, it would have been terrible if you guys just went, can I loot the body?
Yeah.
Can I loot the body? Because she had a few magic items. It's like, can I take a shield?
Yeah, no. And none of us did. And the thing is, it was so great because it was one of those moments where every single person around that table was so invested in the story that when she died, everyone reacted accordingly. Yeah. We all were really sad. All the characters took realistic actions next. They were like, we don't know what to do. My character didn't even watch the killing blow.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I can't watch this. I literally turned away and just sat and just was sad for ages.
Yep.
We tried to bury her.
The new guy nearly left.
Yeah.
Because you guys were laying into the new guy and you're like, this is all your fault.
This is your fault. It's your fault that she's dead. We were really just ragging on this guy. The barbarian who actually killed her wanted to just leave.
Yep.
Which was just, all of us were going through these crazy emotions. And we haven't even mentioned this, we had a guest play with us for this one session. What a session to join on.
Poor guy. Thankfully, he's played a lot of D&D before.
Yeah.
So it wasn't his first ever session of D&D.
Totally.
He's played a lot before.
Yeah, so he knows. But even he was he kind of took a back seat and he was like, I'm going to let them deal with this grief because I'm not part of this. And he was offering, guidance to the new guy that we were laying into. And he tried to say, well, maybe we should bury her kind of thing. I went to go touch her. And another one of our party was like, don't touch her. She's our friend. She fired off a firebolt or a sacred flame or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And she fired off. She was like, don't touch her. She's my friend. And he was like, cool, I'm going to bounce. I don't need to be here right now. I'm going to go. It just, everything was played so perfectly.
And it
was so good.
It got to the point where you guys buried the body. You all said a few words. You left the sword and shield as a monument. The sacred flame cantrip was again used as to emblazon the name in the grass, and that was a thing of obviously sacred flame has no purpose doing that. Doesn't leave a burn or a scorch mark. But when your upset friend asks, can I burn and scorch the name of my dead friend in the grass, you'd be a bit of a dick to say no.
Exactly, yeah. And it's the druid in our party was like, I don't have druidcraft prepared, but can I use it to try and make some flowers to put on the grave? And he was yeah, you can.
You'd be a real dick to say no.
Yeah, legit. Just be like, no, you can't lay flowers, asshole. You should have thought of that
exactly.
in the morning.
Can I lay
your spells properly?
Can I lay flowers? You can make a survival check to see if you can find them. You fall in the swamp.
The best bit was the bit that we found out afterwards.
It was hilarious.
Oh.
It really rocked one of the players, bless her heart, because she took it completely seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't encourage people to do this.
No, but it's so funny in hindsight.
We get away with it because of our friends. We know what we're quite like. So I don't encourage you doing this.
No, but it is amazing. So here goes. So this character that had just killed this other person's previous character.
Yes, she killed Ashara.
She killed Ashara. She then texted the person who originally played Ashara, who was now playing this innkeeper, and just said, I'm so sorry.
Because at the time, she thought, and the others thought, that you guys could save Ashara.
Exactly.
You were all still you guys were all under the assumption until Ashara actually died, there's no way Ashara's going to die.
We thought we'd failed in that. This player who'd killed Ashara texted the person to say, I'm so sorry. And bearing in mind that this player knew exactly what was going to happen.
He'd known for weeks.
Had planned this with Liam for ages.
Known for weeks
that this was going to happen. Texted her back to say, I will never forgive you.
Oh my god.
It's just the most brutal response.
It was.
And the player, the barbarian who killed her, wanted to leave the table. She was like, I can't deal with this. Like, oh my god.
Dreadful. Again, hindsight. Oh, hilarious.
So funny.
At the time. And we didn't know. We didn't know until afterwards. It was only when we'd done the session. It was really late when we finished. I think we finished about 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, 10, 11.
We still spoke it for like, we spoke about it for like another hour.
Easily. At least an hour, yeah.
And it was only at like towards the tail end of this hour discussion about everything that just happened. She said, "Oh yeah, I texted him."
Yeah.
And he said, "I'll never forgive you."
And we all burst out laughing.
Like, it was great. But
so funny.
The whole moment as a whole really brought the team, like your team together for a moment.
Yeah.
And it really gave you guys sort of like not only a purpose to fight for, because at this point you were sort of just doing things as and when they came.
Yeah.
Now you had a reason to get invested.
Exactly.
It not only gave you that, but it gave you guys character development moments. Again, up until that point, the only real sort of bad thing that happened to your group would have been in a backstory that you wrote. Since then, since at the start, they'd won a like continental competition, which basically made them celebrities at like straight out the gate.
At least in the local area.
In the local area, like they're quite well known straight away. You guys reunited like a Minotaur with his like royal family, and completely like felt like heroes doing that as well.
Yep.
You guys were traveling with someone who is of high value to the capital city, who worked with Zeus.
Yeah.
And he was like he was like around you and like gave you guys credit. You guys were like up, only on the ups.
Yeah.
This was a crash.
Yeah. This was a proper crash. And it took us a long time in sessions to actually kind of get over it. It helped us so much because like I said before, it was kind of these two pairs of people that had come together. Now it was the three of us that were left.
Yeah.
And now we had the innkeeper, but you know, whatever, we'll get to him eventually. But now the three of us that were left before, now we're like super duper close, all three of us. So that was a real kind of like bonding moment for the characters, which is great.
I would never do it again.
No?
I done it from a sense of I was still relatively new to DMing, and it was something that I feel like just happened to work out.
Yeah.
I feel like it was something that I got lucky that it worked out as well as it did, because it could have easily gone wrong at several points. Like you guys could have been quite angry with me. You guys could have been angry with the other player. You guys could have been annoyed with me right out the gate when she just walked away and didn't come back. You guys could have been like, well, that's unfair.
Yeah.
And it could have turned into a thing of like, that's a really unfair decision, and like tried to pressure me into reversing it. There was a lot of things that I got away with just through the fact that you guys trusted me.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do that kind of thing again. I'd probably do it a bit differently. How I'd do it differently, I'm unsure. But it is something that I would probably do a bit different.
But it just, one of those things, lightning in a bottle, it just worked so well.
It was just one of those moments that we still look back on it and reference it and talk about that being the moment.
Yeah. That was the moment for the party in this whole campaign that we've had that's still going on. We're only level 8? 7? 7. We're only level 7 in this party
soon.
now.
Keep telling you.
8 soon.
8's coming soon.
8 soon. And that's still the one thing. Like, we've still got a long way to go in this campaign, for sure. And that's still probably going to be the moment.
That's going to be the moment.
It was a genuinely incredible moment that I don't think any of us are ever going to forget about D&D.
No,
totally.
Absolutely not.
Made me fall in love with D&D even more, if that was possible. So, It's
probably my proudest moment of being a DM, and probably my proudest thing that I've done since I picked up this like game.
Yeah, totally. It was amazing. Genuinely amazing. So thank you for listening to that D&D story about Ashara and how you can kind of work in player character death. So someone's like, hey, I'm not feeling this thing. Maybe you could do something similar. Maybe not exactly the same thing. Like you said, you do it differently, but something similar. Have you got any sort of similar stories of characters cycling in and out? Let us know in the comments, because I'm sure we'd be very happy to read those. And if you like this, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and enable notifications for more Warcaster content. Thank you, Liam, for coming on.
Thank you
really
for
do
having
appreciate
me.
it. You can follow him on Twitter at Unlawful Exile, and you can catch us together on the War Podcaster, where we chat about D&D for ages. So find us there as well. Thanks for watching, everyone. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Take care.